Hello, fourth graders, it's Miss Leon. Today we are going to be learning about comparing fractions. And how we're going to talk about this, I always use this little anecdote or this story to help us remember certain ideas about comparing fractions. Sometimes when you have to compare fractions, they have different denominators. That means the numbers in the denominators are different. So I say when they get married because typically when people get married, they change their last names. So for us to compare fractions, we typically need the fractions to change their last names. That means change their denominators. All right, for instance, we are going to be changing last names. We are comparing the fraction 1/4 and 5/6. You could do this using fraction strips, but we're going to do this just using the straight math of it. So you're noticing right now that our denominators are different. This one has a 4 in the denominator, this one has a 6 in the denominator. So we need to find a denominator that they have in common. And remember, we were finding equivalent fractions previously where we know like 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4, just like 1/2 is equivalent to 3/6. But when you talk about a half, that is 2 in the denominator, and then you have 3/6, which is a 6 in the denominator. So right now we need to find maybe a multiple that both 4 and 6 have in common. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. All right, so I'm going to do my multiples of 4. That means like 4 multiplied by 1. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. Multiplied by 4 is 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and then we can go to 40. But this is 4 multiplied by some other number to get our multiples. Just like I have 6 multiplied by 1 is 6, then I have 12, I have 18, 24, 30, 36, and I'm just going to go ahead and stop there. I already see some multiples that they have in common. First and foremost, they both have 12 in common. They also have 24 in common. And they also have 36 in common. But I don't have to go as far as 24 and 36. I can just leave it at 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change 1/4 into a fraction that has 12 in the denominator, and I'm going to change 5/6 into an equivalent fraction that has 12 in the denominator. All right, here is my original fraction. I have 1/4, and I have to get it to a denominator that's a 12. So when I go from 4 to 12, I have to multiply 4 times 3 gets to 12. And what I do to the bottom, I must also do to the top. We have talked about this before. So if I do times 3 in the bottom, I do times 3 on the top, and I will get 1 times 3 is 3. So my new fraction, or my equivalent fraction, is 3/12. Just like over here, I have to find a common denominator. I do 6, and I have to multiply 6 times 2 to get 12. And what I do to the bottom, I must also do to the top. So I multiplied the bottom by 2, so I have to multiply the top by 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. Now I have these two new fractions that are equivalent to our original fractions. So I know by looking at this, the alligator always wants to eat more. We have the same denominator, so we can compare that easily. And the alligator always wants to eat more, and the 10 is bigger than 3, so the alligator eats the 10/12. So 3/12 is less than 10/12, or 10/12 is greater than 3/12. Since we know that, we can determine that since 1/4 and 3/12 are equivalent, and 5/6 and 10/12 are equivalent, we know that 5/6 is greater than 1/4.